Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with the Brock Law Group, Tony and Michael. Gentlemen, you practice different types of law. Tell us what your expertise in law is.
So my expertise would be anything to do with construction. I used to be a licensed professional engineer, and so anything to do with construction would be my baby.
And so when someone has a question about that, you know, are you pre-construction, post-construction, during construction? What is the best time to get a hold of you?
Pretty much every one of those.
Okay.
We can start from the contracts, setting up the construction. Our firm can also help with the purchase of the property as well. And then through the construction phase, any disputes or arguments over change orders, over whether or not it's within a scope of work, whether or not it was done appropriately, we can help with all of that.
And what is your primary course of action when it comes to the law?
I primarily practice in the areas of bankruptcy and business law.
And so together, you make up a tremendous firm because you can have all these different facets within one place. Now, when it comes to the schooling, tell us about the schooling that you went to in order to achieve where you're at today.
So basically, I went to UNLV and I got my engineering degree. I practiced for a few years till I got bored out of my mind, and I told my wife I wanted to quit and go back to law school, and it took me a couple of years. She finally said yes, and so we sold everything and went to law school in Iowa. 3 years later, I became a lawyer and have been loving it ever since.
When we talk about guidelines, being an attorney, we know that the clients are always trying to figure out the best way to save money or things like this. How do you ensure for your clients that they're getting the best value out of you?
We try to make sure that our clients, we're looking out for their best interest. We want to do whatever we can within the confines of the law. So we will push the limits to the extent possible to try and achieve the result that the client's looking for, but still we're gonna act in an ethical manner, and we're always looking for ways to try and do that in the most economical way for our client.
And so when I look at bankruptcy, you know, maybe we look at it being very scared, right? Because we're not sure of the outcome, and that's why we're going to an attorney. Kind of like in your area where we're doing some form of construction and we need somebody who knows the law. So let's talk about that in itself. What are the first couple steps when we're together that you're going to do as an attorney for me?
So the first thing we have to do as an attorney is we have to sit down with our clients and figure out exactly what the issues are, because there are so many different legal issues that relate to different areas of law. So we'll sit down with our clients and we do our best to gather a full picture of what's going on so we can figure out what rules and regulations we need to address in order to help them maximize whatever they need.
And so when you talk about construction, is that for the consumer or is that for the person who owns a construction company as well?
So both, actually.
Okay.
So basically, we help both sides of the fence. So if a landowner comes in and says, I want to build, I want to build something, then we would help them enter into the contracts and go through the whole process. But we also help a lot of contractors that are in the middle of projects if they have a contract that they want reviewed to make sure that everyone understands what's going on, or if they want to negotiate it, they'll come to us and we can go through the contract and show them different options to negotiate. And then they take that back to the owner and get it approved through the negotiation, and then we help them if there's any problems moving forward.
And so residential, commercial, fantastic. Let's talk about the bankruptcy. Sometimes people get into a jam, sometimes medical bills or whatever the reason is. What are the first couple steps in regard to a bankruptcy that we would do?
As Tony said, it's very similar. We would have the client come in, we would meet with them, we would discuss what issues that they're facing, whether or not bankruptcy in fact makes sense for them. And so depending on what information they provide us, we can then evaluate and determine, is bankruptcy the right step for you to take? And if it is, then we let them know, kind of to walk them through and explain what the process is, what we're going to need from them, what expectations they might be able to have with regards to the bankruptcy process, and really just try to bankruptcy can be a little bit of a scary process for some people, and so we try to just provide them with some comfort moving forward.
Right, and so maybe people are very rushed to get a bankruptcy. Maybe then that's not what they're trying to do.
Sometimes people will come and they're just overwhelmed, and they think bankruptcy is right for me, and Michael will sit down and kind of figure out what's going on, and there may be a better alternative to bankruptcy that allow them to get out of the mess that they're in and allow them to move forward without that. I mean, we do that, the same thing in construction. Someone will come in, they've got a problem and they think the world's caving in. A lot of times we can sit down and figure out that maybe it's not the same issue that they think it is, and we can find an alternative method of getting the right results for them without having to go through the long process of, let's say, litigation. There may be a different alternative.
Well, I will tell you, both of you gentlemen, from sitting across from you, you're very easy to talk with. And so if we were hiring an attorney, this is the type of thing that we would be looking for.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you gentlemen coming in. It's been fantastic. We're out of time. But the important thing is that what we've learned and what it is that is so important. So we thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming in today.
Thank you.
We'll give a smile to the camera and say we'll see you real soon.
See you real soon.